Whoopi, is that you? Oh my God, girl, you look so good.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're
Guys,
welcome.
welcome to Notorious Women Podcast. I'm Lavetta.
And I'm Miriam.
And this is Notorious Women, a comedy podcast about some of history's most notorious women.
Yes.
Yes, I have a towel on my head because I am out of town and I am trying to get the best. I look ridiculous. I'm trying to get the best sound because, we're still figuring this out and it's even worse here. I'm in Florida.
Yeah.
But don't tell nobody.
No, I won't. She's sneaking in. She snuck over.
I snuck over. Oh my God. It's Florida. It is as Florida as you think it is. Every day, the local news is the governor is being a dick, an asshole. So it's on brand for Florida.
I'm pretty sure that's the best way to describe the situation. He's like, every morning, wakes out of bed and then goes, how can I be a bigger dick? And then he has an answer to the question. Okay.
I think he's trying to make this state into a state that only people who are not from here can live in.
He's whitewashing it. Yeah.
Yeah, but also like the expense, like the whole appeal of Florida is that it's cheap. And girl, is cheap. Like I'm looking at how house prices. I'm like, you'll get a box in California for that price. Out here, you get a 5-bedroom house.
But you know what you get in California? You get freedom to be a human. Like, as best you get in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. I know. Don't come at me. Everything is bad. But, like, it's better. Okay?
I mean, listen. Gavin Newsom is bae. Okay? He may have gone to the restaurant like a fucking idiot. It's like, dude, what you doing? Dude, what you doing?
Dude, just like, But
I'll take him over. I know. I'll take him any day over this nut job in Florida, but you can't dismiss those people. But I'm from Florida, so Florida's been Floridaing for a long time. It's just more Florida than ever before.
My friend and I were discussing because we were like, well, maybe if we go straight into Disney, right? Straight into Disney.
Right.
And then she's like, or we could go to like Tokyo Disney. So we have a whole plan we can't afford.
It's not the same thing. I've been to both, and Disney World fucking rocks. I can't
It fucking does. I know.
I didn't even know it until I went to other like Disneylands, and I was like, "Where's the rest of it?" Because I'm from here.
Now listen, you and I are about to have some solid words, okay? Because I'm from Anaheim, okay? So like, I hear you.
Okay.
With your sprawling estate of Disney possibilities. But like the OG. Okay.
Okay, it is the OG, but girl, Disney World is
what?
And it was smaller when I was a kid. Like I went out there recently and I was like, God, I'm tired. It's just so many places, like so many parts of Disney World.
Yeah, exactly. Like with Disneyland, you can like get it all done. And it's lovely. Disney World, you're exhausted.
And everywhere you go, a bottle of water is $5. So
only $5? That's nice. Wow, it's on sale.
So I guess we should get started on that note. Well, this week I am first, and in celebration of my time here in Florida, where a douche bucket is in charge.
Yes.
This week, my notorious woman is Eva Braun.
Oh my God.
I know.
What?
I know.
Girl.
Problematic as fuck, but this is what we doing. Okay, this is what we doing.
Maybe it's douche bucket week, I guess.
Yeah. I'm sorry, my Jewish sister. I am taking this bullet, so you don't have to. But yeah, we gonna get into this. So let's.
You never think about who she is. That's a good point. you don't really want to think about it necessarily, but I'm a little curious, but also ew. Okay.
Ew.
Okay.
It's going to be a lot of, just so your listeners know, it's going to be a lot of ew, 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 ew. So yeah, let's get into it. So my notorious woman this week is Eva Braun, aka Hitler's wife. I can't believe those words go together. Because
I'm
who
sorry.
the hell?
Why am I laughing? Why is it funny? Oh my God.
Because this is how you know male privilege is a motherfucker. Because somebody who looked and sounded like and did the things that Hitler did had millions of adoring fans and a wife.
Ew.
And there's some dude out there who's just like, I'm just a nice guy. I just want to be a nice girl. Cannot get laid. Okay, but Hitler.
Yeah. Hitler does not have a problem. And like, look at him. Okay.
Girl, and wait till I tell you about some of this stuff. I'm like, I think we're living in an alternate reality, because I think we're living in Earth 2.5 and Hitler was living in Earth 0.02225 because he's not human enough to even be on Earth 1.0 because wow,
sounds like you did the math on this. I'm just saying,
girl. Let me get into it.
Okay.
So Eva Braun was born. Hold on. Let me find my thing. Okay. So Eva Braun was born.
She was. It's true.
Eva Braun was born Eva Anna Paula Braun.
Okay,
on
that's too many
February
names.
6th.
That's too many names.
I mean, they are European. They're German. So yeah, that's about right.
In full disclosure, just so you know, I already don't like her. Okay.
No, okay. I get it. I get it. Girl, I get it. I get it. But listen, the title of the podcast says Notorious Women.
Oh, right.
Some are heroic.
Yeah.
Some are horrific.
Yeah, it's true.
Some have a hell of a lot of BS traveling through their brains, which this is one of them. So we're going to get into it. Okay. So Eva Braun was born Eva Anna Paula Braun on February 6, 1912 in Munich, Germany, to a school teacher, Friedrich Fritz Braun, and Franziska Fanny Kronberger, a seamstress. Now, you can speak German better than I can. I'm going to butcher the German language. I apologize. I am
let's do this.
So sorry. No, I'm so sorry. Even though German and English can often be confused from one another, at least American English. But I have terrible pronunciation. So excuse me. I'm going to apologize ahead of time. So her father was a school teacher and her mother was a seamstress. Very middle class, almost working class family, very humble. She was,
go on.
She had an elder sister. So she was the middle child. She had an elder sister by the name of Elsa, who was born in 1909. And then a younger sister who was, Marguerite, aka Gretel, which was her younger sister born in 1915.
This is very Sound of Music so far. Okay.
Yes, I know. Now, her father was a Lutheran and her mother was a Catholic. So religious people, salt of the earth kind of people, regular people, working people.
Okay.
She was educated at a Catholic school in Munich and then for 1 year at a business school at the Catholic Young Women's Institute, a convent school.
Yes, where she learned morals and things. Okay.
I mean, she was supposed to. Apparently, by all accounts, her parents sent her there to kind of put her back on the straight and narrow path because she was a bit ambitious and, rambunctious and, that kind of thing. Just your average girl who made average grades, but she had a talent for athletics. So she was a basic bitch, basically.
That feels right.
Yeah, and I said, yeah, she's a basic bitch. So reportedly, hitting the books was not her thing. So she's like, I'm out. So she left school, business school early.
Right.
And went back home. As you can imagine, her parents were like, I'm sorry, what? Girl, you got to work for a living. I don't know who you think. We ain't got no money. That's exactly how they say it with a German accent. I'm sure of
Yeah,
it.
no, that's a direct quote. Yeah,
That's what they did. That's what they did. But she went home, and when she got home, she realized her older sister, Elsa, or Ilse, I think it's Elsa, but it's spelled Ilse, but I think it's Elsa.
All I have is cabaret going through my head over and over again. But you continue.
So she discovered that her older sister had started working and she had become financially independent from their parents. So she thought, oh, I'll get a job. So now Elsa was working for I believe is a German doctor, a Jewish German doctor. And she was making a lot of money. She was making money. She was independent. And so these are young women who are making their own money for the first time. So Eva thought, I'm going to do that. So by 1929, at the age of 17, in an attempt to gain financial independence from her parents, she began working as a bookkeeper and an assistant at the shop of Heinrich Hoffmann. That's spelled with an H.
Okay.
Whose steadiest client was the National Socialist Party run by Austrian Adolf Hitler. Yep. So now also to show you how white privilege works, even in a country like Germany, but in a country like Germany where they're like, oh, the pure Germans, the Aryan blood. Now this girl does not really have education. She's of average intelligence.
She's dumb. Go on.
She got this job by just applying for it in the newspaper. She just went in and you're like, obviously I'm thinking this is probably a good job for a regular person because obviously this Hoffman, if he's like the steady photographer for like a political party that's in power, I'm assuming that he's doing pretty well. So
probably
for the fact that she got a bookkeeping and assistant job there, but by all accounts, Heinrich was no fool. He was like, I'm in business trying to make some money. So he knew that was his biggest customer, and he knew that Hitler liked pretty young girls around.
Okay.
So I'm guessing.
Yeah, probably.
Now, so it was here that the 17-year-old met the 40-year-old creep. I mean, customer. I mean, ill.
Good. Sorry, I'm here. Let's keep going.
Yeah. Now, at this time, he was not yet the homicidal douche bucket that he would become very soon, but merely running the National Socialist German Workers' Party,
just
aka the Nazis. The Nazis.
He was just planting the seeds of hate. Everybody calm down. Yeah.
And I just want to hang a lantern on it, as we writers say. He was running this National Socialist German Party, Workers' Party, aka the Nazis. So Nazi equals Socialist German Workers' Party in Germany during World War II, in the 30s. Okay, so just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So this is an aka the right wing part of the political.
The right
spectrum.
wing. What are you sure?
I'm sure.
Oh, that's so interesting.
So let's be clear. History does have facts. So now, according to Hoffman's daughter, Hitler's opening line to Eva was, quote, "May I invite you to the opera with me, Fraulein Eva? You see, I'm surrounded by men, and I know what a pleasure it is to enjoy female company," end quote. Ew.
She's a child. Oh, my God. Ugh.
And he introduced himself as Mr. Wolf, or at least Hoffman did too, as a disguise. So because Eva claimed that she was, quote, not political, she didn't recognize
I'm not
him.
political. I'm not one of those like political people. I don't really like politics. Sorry, I have opinions. I'm so sorry. Okay, go on.
So she said because she wasn't political, she didn't follow that. Basically, I don't follow that stuff.
Right.
She didn't recognize him at all until when he left. Hoffman told her, "Do you know who that was?" Hitler. And she's like, "Oh, okay. I kind of heard his name. Okay.
Whatever."
So,
Rendezvous? I don't even know Florida. Go on. Yeah, I did. I did that. Okay.
Now, dates at the cinema and restaurants followed after this night at the opera.
She's not 18, right? She's not yet 18. Okay,
No,
cool.
she's 17.
Cool. Yeah, as a child.
And I think I just threw up a little in my mouth. So, there's that.
I love that. I find that that's the worst thing he did. Like, I hear it.
Yeah.
I know. But still.
But
Okay.
Miriam,
Yeah.
lest you think this was some sort of Nazi rom-com that I'm talking about. Not so fast. Not so fast.
Pull back.
Because apparently things got rocky quick after the initial sparks were flying. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Hitler wished to present himself in the image of a chaste hero.
Okay.
Because you see, in the Nazi ideology, men were the political leaders and warriors.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
And women were the homemakers.
Oh, yes. They know their place. Yes.
So Mr. Adolf Hitler, with his little mustache and
gross.
buggy eyes and wide, flat booty, believed that he was sexually attractive to women and wished to exploit his sexual attraction to women for political gain by remaining single, as he felt marriage would decrease his appeal.
Okay.
Ew.
That's
Ew.
disgusting.
Ew.
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 How? Whew. I mean, there's delusional and there's that. Whew.
I mean, did this man not have a mirror? Did they not have mirrors in
No.
1929
I don't
in Germany?
think they invented the mirror yet. That's the only thing I can think of.
Okay.
That's the only answer I have.
That must be it. That must be it. Okay. All right. So it appears also that Miss Eva Braun, as young and nubile as she was,
Yeah.
may have been a bit of a side chick at first, because according to some historians, in 1929, Hitler was living with his half niece, a woman by the name of Geli Robel. I'm sure I butchered that, in an apartment.
Yeah.
Until her death in 1931. She was found dead in the apartment with a gunshot wound to the chest, and apparent suicide with Hitler's pistol. Now, listen, I am not one to throw around accusations.
Hitler killed her.
Allegedly.
Yo, sue me.
I mean, if I had to, also half niece, ew.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That
Ew.
feels right. At this point, sure. Ugh. Ugh.
And
Ugh.
so that seems kind of weird. Half niece, that seems kind of. So is that his sister's stepchild or
half knee? How do you have a half knee? Sisters.
So I mean, like, yeah, his sister's husband's child, maybe. Or brother's husband's child, right? I mean, that just half knee sounds like it's too close.
I just feel like keep your hands off her,
Yeah, that's not like second, third, fourth cousin. That's like half niece. Like that's like
too close.
you changed her diapers or watched something changed her, something creepy like that. But anyway, so she was found by apparent suicide. I mean, if you had to live with Hitler, I mean, come on.
That's true. That's a good point. That's another theory. I hear you.
Yeah. Now, he was in Nuremberg at the time, so he did not kill her. Okay, so let's get the record straight.
Okay, fine.
But his
Killed
relationship,
everybody else.
well, yeah, there's that. Now, but his relationship with Geli, likely the most intense of his life by some accounts, had been important to him. So he began seeing more of Eva after Geli's suicide.
Okay.
Now, Eva was raised right. Let me just say that. She was raised right, because her father and her mother and one of her sisters was like, oh, hell no. What?
Okay.
You dating who?
No.
What?
Mm-mm.
She so much so that she had to keep it a secret. Her family was not happy when they found out, but at first she kept it private, kept it a secret, because her father, Friedrich, was like, oh, that son of a bitch is an imbecile.
Yes.
And he's an extremist. I don't think so. And Elsa disliked him because he was an anti-Semitic asshole. So she was like, a hard pass. But yeah, so she obviously was raised better than this. But nope, Ava's just like, She in her head, I really think that she was in a whole nother like made up world of like romance. She really thought I can't, because I know that we know what Hitler did, so we can look at him and be like, ugh, hindsight's 2020. But like, no, objectively, he was not an attractive man.
He's just like not hot. Like, listen, it's fine. Like, you could be evil or wonderful and be hot in either directions, but he is both evil and not hot.
And unattractive. Yeah.
Like,
but not to her. Apparently, by all accounts, she was like smitten. So basically they were together. She was kind of a bit of a side chick. Gelly committed suicide. So he was like, well, I'm bringing my second string. Okay. So whether it was her frustrations at not being claimed publicly, because again, he's like, I gotta stay hot and sexy and single,
right?
Out in these streets,
because all the ladies are lining up to fuck me. Yeah,
yeah, that's not things that are not happening. Okay, no. So, or because it seems like, I mean, this would make more sense for some mental health battles she must have been having. She reportedly also attempted suicide twice during the early part of their relationships. Yeah.
Oof.
On August 10th or 11th, it's either or, 1932, the first attempt, she shot herself in the chest with her father's pistol. Historians feel that the attempt was not serious, but was a bid for Hitler's attention.
That feels right.
I mean, it does, because a woman who would be attracted to Hitler would have these kind of issues.
Yes. I love me a right-wing extremist that's doing what he can to murder people. Yeah, no, I'm not on your side, girl.
And also because, I mean, of course he would attract a needy, like, damsel, right? So, but it worked, because after this, he reportedly committed to her. By the end of 1932, they had become lovers. Okay. So she was like, was it 32? So she was 20. Okay. And he was 43.
Sorry.
But she was happy about this, because she began staying overnight at his Munich apartment when he was in town, and away from the apartment that she was renting with her younger sister. Now, Gretel had began working for Hoffman at the same place around 1932. And she would often accompany Eva on trips with Hitler to Obersalzberg.
Oh.
Okay, I'm sure I'm butchering that.
Obersalzberg? I don't know. I can't.
Okay.
I think I've been there, though.
Beginning in 1933, Eva got a promotion at Hoffman and worked as a photographer for him. So she went from bookkeeper, assistant, eye candy to a photographer.
Okay.
It may have been a bit of a ruse, but also her boyfriend is now Hitler. So, yeah. I mean, what's Hoffman's going to do? What are you going to do?
Yeah, because I was like, don't you need to, like, learn how to be a photographer? Okay, move it along.
Yeah. Well, the position enabled her to travel, accompanied by Hoffman, of course, with Hitler's entourage as the photographer for the Nazi Party.
Vacations with Hitler, yay! Okay.
Yeah. Now, later in her career, she worked at his art press. So I think she got even more of a promotion. Now,
I bet it was because she was so skilled. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Now, I just want to keep some of this in context, because this is her personal life, but I just, like, World War II is a huge historical thing for obvious reasons. So this coincided around this time with Hitler being appointed German chancellor that same year in January.
Yeah.
Also that year, the Nazis arrested members of the opposition party, aka the left wing of German politics. Dachau was set up. The Gestapo offices were set up, and the early concentration camps, many of them were set up. So the beginning of the carnage and the construction was beginning to go into full swing. So the insanity and the brutality was in full swing.
I just want to point out really quickly, we're just I just want to point, like, people think Nazi Germany was inevitable. People look at that and go, oh, Germany was bad. Germany had a left-wing party. Germany had a whole shit ton of people fighting against the right-wing extremists, and they lost. And then we had World War II and Hitler's Germany. And I just feel like people don't realize how fucking easy that is able to happen anywhere. Hi, Florida. How are you today? Right? So like I just wanted to like let's put a little pin in that. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's very good to point out because I don't know about people. I think Americans don't think it can happen here because they
Yeah.
think that civility, and that's why when, the left wing is many of them have their eyes open, but many of them are still like, no, let's be civil to one another. We are all Americans. It's like, no, the other side don't think that. Like,
No, they want to lock you up or kick you out. Like
they ran up on the fucking Capitol. These motherfuckers cannot be reasoned with.
No,
okay?
It's not. It's not okay.
They cannot be reasoned with. So,
and I'm not going to, exactly.
And we have all these examples, but Americans in particular think that they are immune to this kind of thing. I mean, black people don't know that's not true, but we need white allies to open up their eyes and at least be more vigilant.
At least honor that this is a risk.
Yes.
Like, at the very least.
You would think the Capitol January 6th would have opened up,
but
it's like they have short memory.
But again, I think they see it as inevitable that they were shut down. They don't see how close, how dangerous that was.
Yeah.
Like,
It's basically they tried to do Tulsa on the Capitol. That's basically what the motherfuckers were trying to do.
Yeah.
Basically what they were trying to do. So now also, like during this time, along with building work camps and concentration camps, he instituted a mandatory military service and imprisoned the first of many groups of Jewish people for being Jewish, along with other undesirables, including the queer population. Okay.
Yep.
Now, while Hitler and his thugs were busy planning genocide, Eva was unbothered. She was happy. She's more unhappy.
She's not political. Yeah, it's fine.
She was unhappy, though. Miriam.
Why?
You know why she was unhappy?
Why?
Because she was unhappy that her boyfriend wasn't spending enough time with her.
Hitler,
because he was
home.
too busy. He was too busy being homicidal and committing genocide. Because according to a fragment of her diary in the account of biographer Naren Gunn, Eva Braun's second suicide attempt occurred in May of 1935. She took an overdose of sleeping pills when Hitler failed to make time for her in his life.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Now, by this time, he had provided her and her sister Gretel. So Gretel was with the okie doke, whereas Ilsa and her father, I didn't see much about her mother, but I'm assuming her mother's like, yeah, nah, this ain't it. Gretel was into it. She was like, I'm into this.
Fuck
Hitler
the Jews. Yeah.
had provided them with a 3-bedroom apartment in Munich that August. And then later, that following year, the sisters were provided with a villa in Bogenhausen at Wasserburgers. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm laughing with you.
I'm so sorry. That sounds Swedish.
Yeah, that's a Muppets character.
Bogenhausen. I'm just going to say Bogenhausen. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to say it. Okay.
Right.
Now, Braun was a member of Hoffman's staff, the photographer guy, when she attended the Nuremberg rally for the first time in 1935. Hitler's half-sister, Angela Raubal, Raubal, Gelli's mother. So we were right.
Oh, God.
Ew.
Okay.
Angela took, I'm going to say Angela because Angela Merkel, I'm not going to besmirch her name, even though that's probably the German pronunciation. But Angela, Gelli's mother, took exception to Eva's presence. But Angela, was later dismissed from her position as housekeeper at Berghof. Now, what the hell? Why is his sister?
No.
Why is, because it's his half sister. I see now. So why is his half sister working as a housekeeper?
Right. Like, you know what? I have an idea. I had a thought. I think I know why. I think Hitler's an asshole. I'm just spitballing here.
Ding, 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 ding. Now, researchers are unable to figure out if her dislike for Eva was the only reason for her departure, but other members of Hitler's entourage saw Eva Braun as untouchable from then on. So she moved
shit.
in
Okay.
and was like, I am going to be queen bee of this house of evil. So you all know this, bitches. Now, by 1936,
Yeah.
Braun was at Hitler's household at Berghof near Bergen-Tessen Garden. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to do that. Yeah, I'm not going to do it. Whenever he was in residence there, but she lived mostly in Munich. She also had her own apartment there at the new Reich Chancellery in Berlin, completed in 19 no, that's something else, completed by it's some fancy thing. Now 1936 was also the only time prior to 1944 that they appeared together in a published news photo. When she sat near him at the 1936 Olympics, Winter Olympics. Now,
I remember those.
The German people were unaware of this whole relationship for most of the war until basically the war ended.
Okay.
And for the most part, Eva Braun reportedly lived a sheltered life throughout the entirety of World War II.
Oh.
She spent most of her time shooting home movies, which you can see on YouTube.
I've seen them.
And it's so weird. I watched a few of them, and it's so weird because you're watching them and you're like, these are lovely home movies. It's so interesting to see how people until the fucking Nazis show up with their
It is fucked
like emblems.
up.
And you're like, oh fuck.
Yeah. She's like dancing in her living room and the Jews are burning. Like, what in the fuck is happening?
They're frolicking on on the ground because apparently this castle was built. It was renovated, and then all the homes that you could see in the view in the mountaintops were bought by the Nazi party and then destroyed. So they didn't have to look at peasants, basically.
Well, that tracks. Yeah.
Because they were
right.
basically creating like an insular, like kind of like a dome of like, and that's where she lived and she frolicked and shot movies, and they would watch movies. I think in one of these home movies.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Wait. Well, 20 years ago when I was in Europe and I was like in Bavaria, it was very pretty there. It was very weird how very pretty it is because very bad things had happened. But you know, they have things to do, touristy things. One of the touristy things to do is Hitler's house. And I was like, what?
Nope.
And it's Hitler's house, Haus for house.
Nope.
German house.
Nope.
And then I was like, what is this? Thinking it was like, what it actually is an homage to the Jews who died, or, you know.
Right.
No, it's just like literally the house. Go look at it. It's pretty. What the fuck, Germany? Come on.
That's a hard pass for me.
Yeah, it was a hard pass for me.
It was a hard pass. That's like visiting a plantation for white people here. And you're like, I'm good.
Although I do want to visit a plantation and raise my hand and say, where are the slave quarters? And then I want them to try to brush me off. And then I want to keep raising my hand and keep asking the question. Like, I have a dream of that.
Well, now that they've acknowledged that, because for a long time they wouldn't have acknowledged that. But I just want motherfuckers to stop getting married at plantations.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't laugh because I do agree. But
just stop it.
Yeah.
Stop getting married at plantations.
Like, I don't want people to get married at Auschwitz. It feels like the same.
It's the same. Because, and I hope if you do, I hope you get haunted for the entirety of your marriage. And I hope it has a stain on it for the rest of your life. But yeah, so back to Miss Eva Braun. Yeah, I said that. She just spent her time like frolicking, reading books and waiting for her boyfriend. Because I'm just going to say, this is a silly, silly woman who's also not as innocent as you would think. So I'm going to get to that. So she was basically sheltered throughout the whole thing. She was just busy being the Third Reich princess that she wanted to be. And she was far away from the reality and the brutalities being carried out in the name of hate. She became a significant figure within Hitler's inner circle, but did not attend public events with him until mid-1944, when her sister Gretel, remember younger sister?
Oh, yeah, Gretel.
She married an SS officer by the name of Hermann Figolin. I'm sure I butchered that.
You can butcher that name. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Butcher the name.
Figurine. Now, by this time, so mid-1944, Auschwitz, along with many other camps, had already killed millions of people.
Yeah.
Germany and the fucking Nazis had invaded Poland, Hungary, France, began bombing England, and declared war on America. While Eva Braun is just chilling. And one of her home movies, they have like blackface. Of course they
wow. Why am I surprised? Of course they did.
So, yeah, that's a little side note tidbit. Now,
God.
But even as her position in the Nazi social circle was secured, she continued to work for Hoffman after commencing her relationship with Hitler. She took many photographs and films of members of Hitler's inner circle, some of which were sold to Hoffman for an extremely high price.
Well, yes. I think they call that extortion, but whatever.
Yeah. What is he going to say? No? I'm not paying
they're not gonna
you.
say nope.
I'm not paying you $5,000 for a picture. Is he going to say no? No.
No.
She received money from him as an employee as late as 1943.
Wow.
Officially, she held the position of private secretary to Hitler.
Okay.
Because under that guise, she could travel with him and no one would think twice of it. But often she used side entrances and rear staircases to access him in like public places. Now, one historian noted that, okay, I'm just going to say this. This woman wrote a thing and she was like, I think they had a normal sex life. I'm like, there's no way they had a normal fucking sex life.
No.
Because he's 23 years older than her, which again, if you're Patrick Stewart in his heyday, that's one thing. Because even now.
Or after his heyday, also yes.
Captain Picard can get it. He might not want it, but he can get it. Okay,
but
I'm just saying.
I'm married. What? Stop it.
But not Hitler. Okay.
No.
Because Hitler's dick. Ew.
No.
Ew.
I threw up in my mouth. Ew.
Anyway.
Lavetta, I just blacked out. What did you just say? I have no idea.
No. Now, she was one of these people. Most historians can agree. Eva Braun was one of these people who are like, I'm apolitical. It doesn't really matter to me.
Like, you guys stop fighting and everyone just like get along.
Yeah. But one historian does note that she did take an interest in 1943, shortly after Germany had fully transitioned to a total war economy. Among other things, this meant a potential ban on women's cosmetics and luxuries. So according to one historian, one memoir, it said, Eva Braun approached Hitler in, quote, high indignation at not being able to get a hold of these things. So later.
I mean, honestly, that is ridiculous. I mean, all of the murdering and the camps, but I can't wear makeup.
I can't get my Max Factor lipstick number 7.
Honey, fix it.
How am I supposed to be the Third Reich princess if I can't have the right lip shade? Okay. How?
Like no. Like, you've gone too far.
You've gone too far. So later Hitler was like, can we? So let's not like halt production.
Wow.
Let's just let's just kind of slow things down, but let's not institute an outright ban because they had banned it.
So this bitch could have been, baby, don't kill all these Jews, but she didn't. She could have been like, baby, these gay people aren't so bad. She didn't. And like the millions of other people that he decided to target, she did not. Okay. But the makeup, God forbid. Okay. I have feelings about this, Lavetta. I feel that I'm getting a little riled up.
Yeah, I understand. I'm getting through it. I'm almost through.
You got it, girl.
No, I get it. I totally get it. And I am with you. I am totally with you. I took this bullet, girl. I took this bullet.
I appreciate it.
Oh, you
really do. Because we need to talk about her. Because my God.
We need to talk about her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, remember Gretel, her younger sister?
Again, she married. She loves her an SS man. Yes.
Yeah. She married that Fuckable.
Fuckface? Was that? Okay. Anyways.
Later, though, towards the end of the war, Fiegeling was caught in the closing days of the war trying to escape to Sweden or Switzerland. Or wherever.
Yeah.
So he was just trying to get the hell out of Germany.
Fuck him.
Hitler ordered him to be executed.
That's fine.
For desertion.
You're an SS officer. Die. Bye.
Yeah, which he was shot in the garden of the Reich Chancellery on April 28th, 1945.
But damn, like no love for his brother-in-law, huh?
Yeah, no.
What a shock. Hitler's an asshole. Wow. No. I mean, this is just like, boom. Huh. Unbelievable. All right, go on.
Well, you know how you were saying like this bitch was like, she could have been advocating for some like empathy or no. You know why she wasn't doing that? Because she agreed with him. She was down with it. Okay. Yeah. Because according to Berlin historian and author Heike Gortermaker. I don't want to butcher their name because this is an author.
Okay.
Their book, Eva Braun, Life with Hitler, in an interview with The Observer, Heike said, quote, Eva Braun features in films, plays, novels, and historical memoirs, but is always portrayed as the dumb blonde who had the misfortune to fall in love with the devil. And this is an image that needs to be corrected. She was capricious, an uncompromising advocate of unconditional loyalty towards the dictator, and he adored her, end quote. Now, when some people suggest that, and also in her book, I think Heike is a woman, but I'm going to say there because I don't want to be disrespectful. In Heike's book, they say that they recount a story where when Henriette von Schirach suggested to Eva that she go into hiding after the war, Eva replied, quote, do you think I would let him die alone? I will stay with him until the last moment.
You know what?
He's my man.
Girl, you stay with him. That's right. You know what, Eva? Go. You're on to something, girl.
Hey, you're on to something, Miriam, because she got what she wanted. Because when the city was falling under Russian forces, because he made the mistake of thinking he can go into Russia during the winter. He did not learn from Napoleon.
I know. What a fucking idiot. Okay.
I love it. I love that. That's how that was a downfall. Eva fled with him to the bunker. And so on the night after midnight, between the nights of 28th and the 29th, Hitler and Braun were married. So they're not sure if it's the 28th or 29th, and a small civil ceremony in the bunker.
All right. Yeah,
so he was just like, I'm going to make an honest woman out of you as we are about to die. So let's do this.
Let's do the moral thing. Okay.
The event was witnessed by Joseph Goebbels, that fucker, and Martin Bormann. Thereafter, so they escape. They're like, the Russians are coming. Let's get that hell out of here. They go and get married. Hitler hosted a modest wedding breakfast with his new wife.
Of course.
And then a little factoid, when she married him, her legal name was changed to Eva Hitler. But when she signed the marriage certificate, she wrote the letter B for her family name, then reportedly crossed it out and replaced it with Hitler because she was just so excited. She was like, oh my God, finally, I have my man.
Yeah, she was just stupid. She's just fucking stupid. Okay.
Yeah. Again, basic bitch. Now, on April 30th, 1945, Eva Braun and Adolf Hitler ordered their dogs to be shot, then retired to the study where witnesses heard a gunshot. After waiting a few minutes, Hitler's valet, a man by the name of Ling, accompanied SS officer Otto Gonsche. No, it's Gonsche. Again, it's German. I'm so sorry, German people. I'm so sorry. Entered and found the lifeless bodies of Hitler and Braun on a small sofa. Eva had bitten into a cyanide capsule, and Hitler had shot himself in the right temple with his pistol because he's a fucking coward, hiding in a bunker. And shooting yourself. The corpses were then carried reportedly up the stairs and through the bunker's emergency exit to the garden behind the Reich Chancellery, where they were burned during the Red Army shelling and in and around the area. Eva Braun was 33 years old. She had spent 16 years of her life with a mass murderer and seemingly loving it.
Yeah. Okay? I'm so sad. I'm not. Bye. Wow, she did a lot of shitty ass things in a short life.
She did a lot of shitty things. Now, the rest of her family survived the war. Her mother died at age 91 in 1976.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Having lived out her days, in a farmhouse in Bavaria. Her father had died in 1964. And then Gretel gave birth, the one who loved Nazis, gave birth to a daughter whom she named Eva on May 5th, 1945.
After your favorite sister, huh? Okay, cool.
And she later married a businessman by the name of Kurt Beringhoff, which is so interesting because we wonder where these fuckers skedaddled after the war, these sympathizers, these Nazi sympathizers.
You know she married a Nazi sympathizer.
Oh, yeah, she totally did. Yeah. She died in 1987, allegedly. We got to say that. Now,
she's probably hiding
Elsa, the older sister, who was like a hard pass, no. She never wanted no parts of none of that, never had any parts of that. She married twice and died in 1979. Now,
she's my
to
favorite.
Wrap this up, Elsa and the father, I love because the father was like, he's an idiot. Like, no.
Her father was right.
Yes. Your father was right. Now, according to so we want to know, what does she know? Because some people say, oh, she's just a dumb blonde. She was innocent. She was all of this. She didn't know what's going on, da-da-da. Now, according to the author, one author, Eva Braun was fully aware of the twists and turns of the Nazi policymaking and made no attempt to speak out against the Holocaust. Quote, she was in the loop and knew what was going on. She was no mere bystander, said one historian, end quote.
I would not believe that. You were there. She stayed in the room where it happens, y'all. Like, she was there.
She was in the room where it happened. Now, in post-war memoirs, Hoffman, the guy she worked for, characterized Eva as, quote, inconsequential and featherbrained. Her main interests were sports and clothes and the cinema. No, because now we know that women can be just as horrific as men and women are good at, most of us are good at what Black people like to call code switching. This is gender code switching, where you pretend to be helpless and, I don't know anything, but be smart, be as sly as a fox, as they say.
Yep.
Many of them have now corrected this and have said that she was well aware of her power and her position. She was a political animal. Above all, she knew all the levels of power in the complicated structure of the Third Reich. She knew whom to flatter, whom to freeze out, and whom especially to recommend to her paramour. The latter group included members of her family who profited mightily from their years together. She was not just merely in love with Hitler. She was a true believer in the Fuhrer and a loyal National Socialist. And so those commentators who reduced her to a pretty face, they were men, of course.
Oh, really?
And that's why they're like, oh, she had to be a ditz. Like, 'cause she came across, they always describe her as pure and innocent young girl. And they were also National Socialists themselves. So they couldn't believe that she could actually be this crafty or this smart.
Yeah,
they believed that women had no place in public life or politics. They believed that the old German saying, Kirch, Kutsch, and Kinder, in the German church, kitchen, and children, basically. But there's no
Kinder,
But and many of them started to resent her, and so, like they did a lot of women throughout history, they just call her a whore or like inconsequential or a dumb blonde or what have you. But everyone would say that she had control in the room, even when she was in the room. She was the only person.
Yeah, I'm going to give her evil. I'll give her evil.
They would often say she was the only person who could clear her throat loudly and declare, quote, "I'm going to bed," end quote, during one of Hitler's endless nighttime monologues. So many people feel like that whole like sort of image of her as being a dumb blonde was their revenge on her because they didn't have that power and they resented it. But personally, I think it's a way to further the narrative of the virginal, innocent, and pure white woman.
Yes.
That's an integral part of white supremacy.
Yes. And you and I are debunking that shit.
Yeah, that the pure virginal white woman is innocent. Melania Trump, that she is really a prisoner of this horrific man and poor lady. And no, she's a willing participant. She's egging him on. She's providing personal and emotional comfort for him to then wake up and go out and commit genocide.
Yeah.
I also think when people say, I'm non-political, I'm apolitical, she's the personification of that at the very least. And at the very worst, a willing and, what's the word I'm looking for? A willing and like enthusiastic believer of everything that he was doing.
Of all the fucking shit she needed him to stop doing, she stopped him from stopping the makeup production. This whore can fucking rot in all the hells. All the hells.
Yes.
What did I say? I said it. I'll say it again.
Oh, okay. So I'm sorry, Mom is a little long today, but that's Eva Braun.
Damn. Okay. I'm gonna need a minute. Whew. I'm just kidding. Wow.
Who's your notorious woman this week for me?
My notorious woman. So this is what an episode. Okay. So the woman herself is a wonderful woman. Her circumstances, maybe we get a little bit dark again. Maybe there's more darkness to be had, but like she comes out okay. This is a rise above situation.
Oh, good. I like that.
So you probably have heard of her and not realized it till halfway through. Her name is Bibi Aisha.
Oh, no. Okay.
So she was born into an Afghan family in Afghanistan. Oh my God, I didn't get where she was born. It's like the 2000s or like maybe late 19.
Oh, she's young. Okay.
Yeah, she's young. Yeah. So her mom died when she was very, very young. So when she was 12, her father promised her to a Taliban fighter as compensation in a practice called BOD for a murder committed by a member of their family. Now,
oh my God.
BAAD is technically illegal, but it's done. And what it is it's if you murder somebody and the people's family whom you've murdered is pissed, what you can do is sell like a daughter or woman to them or promise them, like instead of selling, she'll be free to any male member of your family.
That's terrible. Oh my God.
It's real bad.
Wow.
So she was forced to marry him when she was 14 years old. Her husband and his family abused the shit out of her. Like they were cruel.
Of course, because this is slavery. This is slavery. You give people to people. That's slavery. Like,
that's what that is. So at 18, she fled, but she was caught by the police and they put her in a jail for 5 months in Kandahar. She says of the jail time, so jail sounds awful, but she says, quote, "So I was happy to stay in jail. I stayed for 5 months. No one was beating me and I had good food. Then my so-called father-in-law came and bribed the police and took me. I begged the police to let me stay, but I didn't have another choice." So then...
man, poor baby. Oh, this is terrible.
She's 18. She's not even 20. So as revenge for her escape, her father-in-law, quote unquote husband, like bullshit, that's her husband. They just forced it. And 3 other men of the family took her to the mountains. This is like trigger warning. It's a little bit gross and horrible. They cut off her nose and ears and they left her to die.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Nope. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. So this is like 2007, 2008. This is happening.
So you ran away because we were beating you and mistreating you.
Uh-huh.
And now that we have you back, we're going to mutilate you and leave you to die. Wow.
That's some
Damn.
extra special levels of evil.
Yeah, that's
Like-
that's that what's the word where people are like get off on like
Yeah.
like,
I don't even know the word.
Torture and like, oh, I'm sorry, but go ahead. Oh, that's
I
terrible.
know what you're saying. So then she crawled to her uncle's house and he refused to help her. He wouldn't open the door. She says, quote, "But something was powering me that night. I knocked on doors and told my story. I decided that I wanted to survive. I went to an American hospital and did my treatment for 2.5 months, and they treated me like a family member. They saved my life." So her story was then featured in an American news, in the news. That's why I said you might have heard of her as an example of the effects of the Taliban's reign of terror on women. So a lot has happened. Basically, from what I gather, she was just heavily abused. The second her mother died, her father abused her, her family abused her, and then they sold. I mean, it's not shocking. Someone who would sell her.
This is what like they're trying to get instituted here. Like this is what, different forms of it used to be, the law of the land in America. And there's a lot of religious extremist sects who practice this right here in the United States. So that's why Americans are like, oh, that's over there. It's like, no. Selling women is like, unfortunately, or giving women away because they're property. It's grown ass women and girls and like human beings with their own minds and bodies away to other men is as old as time itself. So
it's sure.
This is particularly brutal though. This is wow.
I mean, from what I read, it seemed that like cutting that brutalization was just like the icing on the disgusting misogynistic cake. Like they just tortured this girl.
And let me just say, before, I've been meaning to say this, and I'm not being hyperbolic. Basically, the people who ran up on the Capitol are our Taliban.
Yeah,
these
absolutely.
are the motherfuckers who want to put women, and the women who support them, they don't think it's gonna affect them, or they think if they have money that they're gonna be excluded or from this kind of thing. But that whole like taking back reproductive rights, your ability to get an abortion, we're not fighting for that because women want to get abortions. We're fighting for that because a woman shouldn't be forced to have a baby that she doesn't want because it's coming out of her fucking body. It's
about forced birth. You teach your child whatever you want to teach them. You give them whatever values you believe in. I'm fine with that. I have plenty of girlfriends who are like, I could never do it. Great. That's fine.
Exactly.
But it's your right.
Sure. Right. And then, and these white supremacists are trying to force these white women to have babies. That's why they're mad. They're really mad at white women who are like, I should be able to get an abortion if I want one. Like
we're losing the majority.
Yeah. So I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just wanted to say that, like, I don't think people realize, like, they think, oh, the Taliban. No, what I saw on January 6th, that's our Taliban.
I mean, I could go on because it's more than that. It's also any extreme religion, every single one. I am not picking on just one because every single one, I have many in my mind, but I don't want you to yell at me. So just think about all they have their own. They have their own police force. They have their own system of getting, if you need help, if you need mental help, if you don't go to the regular authorities, you go to them.
And also, there's a lot of them in America under the guise of Christianity or Christian sect. There's a lot of them in the United States. So we just want to say that. Yeah.
It's
I'm sorry, darling.
Yeah. So her story first appeared in the Daily Beast in December of 2009, and this prompted many doctors to offer her free help and reconstructive surgeries. So there's something called the Grossman Burn Foundation, which is in California, and they pledged to perform the necessary surgeries, and they began organizing for her visa in the spring of 2010. 2010.
You got this.
I can speak
something.
words.
That's something. Oh, wow.
So in March of 2010, Diane Sawyer of ABC News covered her story. And she was featured August of 2020 on the I can't say that word 2010 on the cover of Time magazine, and in the corresponding article called "Afghan Women and the Return of the Taliban." And the cover image is of her without her nose.
I have seen this. Yeah,
you have seen it, yeah.
Yeah.
And it fueled a huge debate on the Afghan war. Side note, the photo was taken by South African photographer Jody Bieber, and she was awarded the World Press Photo Award in 2010. So, and like, her stuff is really good. Look it up. She's great. So shortly after the cover appeared on Time, she was flown to the United States to receive free reconstructive surgery. So after she arrived in California, she psychologically regressed into, I'm going to say this because I can, psychogenic, non-epileptic seizures, panic attacks, and self-harm that required hospitalization.
Oh, no.
So the doctors determined she wasn't yet stable enough for the grueling reconstructive surgery, and these traumas caused her to suffer with borderline personality disorder.
Oh.
Now, I think that's perfectly reasonable response to where she came from. Then if you think about it, she is all alone. She has no one with her.
Yeah, it's like I'm like during the pandemic, I'm like, oh my God, I have anxiety now because and this poor girl, like since she's like 13, 14, is being beaten and treated like a slave.
Before that, because her mom died when she was a baby. And
so her exactly.
father basically abused her also.
And then she's probably not educated. They definitely didn't teach her how to read or anything.
No,
and
they
then
didn't.
She's here in a foreign country and she probably doesn't understand. Like, it's like, and then this horrific thing happened to, of course, this stuff is happening to her.
Yeah.
Poor thing.
Yeah. It tracks. It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So the surgery was delayed. So she was taken in by a group called the Women for Afghan Women Shelter in Queens, New York. Queens! I used to live there. Hey. And her condition improved with a change in medications and her seizures stopped. So she was then given, in the meantime, a remarkably real-looking and painstakingly crafted prosthetic nose created by someone named Dr. Stephen Knaus or Naus. I don't know.
I'll take it.
Yeah, right. And she wore it at a gala for the Grossman Burn Foundation, which actually, like, it looked very, very real. And at this gala, she stood on a red carpet. She met Laura Bush and at the time, the California First Lady, Maria Shriver. So a quote from Rebecca Grossman, who was the wife of Dr. Peter Grossman, who did her surgery, said, quote, Aisha has just had, from what I have learned, a life of extreme abuse since her mother died. She has been treated so badly and been so abused, and that is why it is amazing that she is as playful and joyful as she is. I mean,
oh, yeah.
So she had, you called it, she had never set foot in a classroom, but she took to the internet pretty darn quick. She took to YouTube, and she actually began to teach herself English using an online program designed for school kids. And she loves texting. She loves her phone. And she also became a really good jewelry designer. So when she was in prison, she learned it as a skill. And then she later honed the skill in the shelter in Queens. And then the Dr. Grossman's Foundation gave her like tons. I think I read that they went to Michael's and just bought out tons of beads. And all the jewelry making things that you need for that. And then a number of women who met her found ways to help her sell her work online.
I love that. Oh, yeah.
So in 2010, she says, quote, I want to become a nurse to help people. I've had 31 surgeries, which means I have a lot of experience in the medical world. I want to help people who are hurting and say to them, if I could get through my darkest hours, you can. So I'm a little confused as to when the surgeries were what, but it seems that in 2012, the preparations to do, because I think she had to have some other stuff. I mean, she was.
Oh, I would imagine she has to have a lot of stuff. And for some of it, you have to be, you have to have like therapy, like, to make sure mentally that you're able. And then it's just a lot of like poking you and sticking you and like recovery. And thank God she's young. So,
that's
physically,
true.
but mentally, like that's a lot. It's a lot for her.
So they did a multi-stage facial reconstruction. So her forehead was expanded over the course of several months to provide enough tissue to build a new nose. The structure for her new nose was built using cartilage from her own body, and tissue from her left hand was also used for the inner lining. Okay.
Wow, that sounds intense.
I've seen pictures of her nose, and I don't want to be like reductive, She's a hero. She's notorious in the best way. She's also like beautiful. Like she's beautiful. Like I love that those motherfuckers didn't win.
Yeah,
that
I'm with you.
She is here. She has been adopted by an Afghan American couple and lives in Maryland. And in 2014, it was said that she is interested in becoming a police officer. Now, I can't.
No, run for the hills, girl. No, don't do that.
Or
I'm just kidding.
No, let's change the police force.
Yeah, exactly.
Girl,
those kind of people we want on the police force.
We need you because she's not take that shit.
Yeah.
So that is, let me make sure that I'm saying her name, Bibi Aisha.
Bibi Aisha.
Yes.
Wow. So so we don't know since 2014.
But I will say that maybe she should live her life, Like
absolutely. If anybody should live their life, it should be her. So privacy, girl. She probably wants privacy. Hopefully she's maybe found a family and, if that's what she wants.
Yeah.
Or, just having a hot girl summer every summer, if that's what she wants.
Yeah, exactly. Let her have her options.
Yeah, I love that. Bibi Aisha, thank you so much for sharing that, because that was a great palate cleanser.
A little bit, yeah.
For Eva Braun.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Just gonna spring that on me. That's fine. I'm fine. I'm excellent.
But you know what? It's also basic bitches stay winning. And I'm a basic bitch, but like I'm not that basic.
You're not that. I feel like if Eva Braun is a basic bitch, I don't know that I would put Lavetta Cannon in the same category, Oh,
I appreciate that.
I don't think you should appreciate it. I think you should be like, yes, correct.
You know how something could be both good and bad, like our podcast. I feel like she's a basic bitch in the bad way, and I'm a basic bitch in the good way. Okay.
I see you.
All right, guys, that wraps it up for our latest episode of Notorious Women. Guys, remember to follow us on all the things, and please go to Apple to leave a 5-star review. It really, really helps people find us. Share our podcast with your friends and your family. Again, just copy the link of the podcast in your podcast catcher of choice and just send it to your friend, text it, email it, send it by letter, by post, by plane, by train, by
pigeon,
the beans, the greens, the pigeons, whatever, dragons,
whatever.
Yes, everything. Just spread the word. We love doing this. So again, thank you for supporting us and becoming a member of our Patreon. If you're interested in supporting the show, you can go to patreon.com/notoriouswomen. That's patreon.com/notoriouswomen. Again, that's patreon.com/notoriouswomen. And you just help us out a little bit. Or if you don't want to do that, you don't want to give us $2 a month or whatever, just like us, subscribe.
Yeah.
That would be so amazing.
Thank you.
And I'm going to let Miriam tell you how other ways you can contact us and how do you find us on socials.
Yeah, so we are on Instagram, y'all. Please join us. It's the easiest thing to remember. It is Notorious Women Podcast. Come join us. It's fun there. I like to find fun things. Lavetta's going to show up and she's going to have fun with us. Yes, she is.
If I survive Florida, I will.
You can do this, girl. I believe in you.
I will.
You go and come home. Hurry up.
I know.
And also we have a Gmail. So it's notoriouswmpod@gmail.com. You can also DM us on Instagram if you would like to do that as well. And that is it.
And slide into the DMs.
Okay.
But, only if you don't have Hitler's dick. Ew!
Yeah. Okay. It's just so disgusting. Okay.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.